Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet. Episode 1, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. In 1878, I took my degree of Doctor of Medicine from the University of London. Soon after, I passed through the course at Netley for Army surgeons and was attached as assistant surgeon to the Fifth Northumberland Fusiliers. They were stationed in India, but before I could join them, the Afghan war had already begun. By the time I caught up with my regiment, my life as an army doctor had begun in earnest. But for me, the campaign brought nothing but misfortune. At the Battle of Maiwand, I was struck in the shoulder by a bullet that shattered the bone. I would have fallen into the hands of the enemy had it not been for my orderly, Murray, who dragged me to safety. Fever and months of weakness followed, and at last I was sent back to England. I returned broken in health, without family, without fortune. London became my refuge. I stayed for a time in hotels, spending money far more freely than I should. When my purse thinned dangerously, I realized I needed humbler quarters. It was then, quite by chance, that I encountered Stamford, an old acquaintance from my medical school days. "What are you doing with yourself, Watson?" he asked in surprise. "You're as thin as a lath and as brown as a nut." "I'm looking for lodgings," I admitted. He smiled oddly. "Strange. You're the second man today to say that. The other is a fellow up at the laboratory, complaining he cannot afford the rent alone." "Then he and I should meet," I said quickly. "I'd rather share rooms than live in solitude." Stamford raised his brows. "You don't know Sherlock Holmes yet. He's peculiar." I laughed. "As long as he is quiet and studious, I shall be content." After luncheon, we made our way to the hospital laboratory. Through stone staircases and long corridors we walked, until the air grew thick with chemical fumes. There, bent over a table covered with test tubes and bottles, stood a lone student. At the sight of us, he sprang up, a flash of triumph in his eyes. "I found it!" he cried, holding aloft a test tube. "The reagent that is precipitated by hemoglobin and nothing else." "Watson," said Stamford, "this is Mr. Sherlock Holmes." Holmes grasped my hand with surprising strength. His eyes darted over me in a glance that seemed to pierce my very skin. "You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive." I stared at him in astonishment. "How on earth did you know that?" He merely chuckled to himself and turned back to his table. "Never mind that. Look here. Do you see what this means? An infallible test for bloodstains. Think of it, man, a revolution for criminal detection." His excitement filled the room. As he threw crystals into the clear solution, it deepened into red, unmistakable as blood. I watched, bewildered, yet fascinated. And in that moment I realized I had just met the man who would change the course of my life forever.